Well, listen, Vegas, while America is enraptured by the Buffaloes, there is one little carve-out that is not, and that is the bookmakers in Las Vegas. As of this morning, they say the Colorado Buffaloes are finishing 6-6. They're 3-0. As of this morning, they're a 21-point dog to a team that escaped against Texas Tech. Needed a furious fourth-quarter rally against Texas Tech. And there is some anchoring bias almost in the sports books of we projected Colorado to go 3-9. They were picked to finish 11th in the Pac-12. And by the way, shout out the Pac-12. 1/3 of the AP top 25 right now is Pac-12. And Colorado, by the way, has a brutal remaining schedule. Wildes and I were looking at it. They're probably only going to be favored in 2 games the rest of the way, maybe 3 of them. And so here's what I would say, though, Brew. I do think it's a touch disrespectful. I also think that's great for the Buffaloes. What's the only game this year they've underachieved?
When they were favored.
Not only when they were favored.
Big time.
When they were big-time favorites.
Yep.
When the storyline was about not are they going to win, but how badly they're going to win because Deion's mother had been disrespected unintentionally by Jay Norvell. And so I think this is good for Colorado because they are up against it. Oregon's got better talent. Oregon's at home. Oregon also is not missing their best player, or the second best player for Colorado. I think Shedeur is now the best player, but in Travis Hunter. But yeah, it is a little disrespectful, but I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's disrespectful because, as you said, it's not like Oregon ran over Texas Tech. They run over 2 teams, Portland State, Hawaii,
81-7,
that aren't good. Yeah. And Texas Tech is 1-2, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, so it's similar because people are looking at the Colorado State game and saying, man, they struggled badly, Colorado. But again, you could say the same exact thing about Oregon against Texas Tech. They were down with like 2 minutes left, less than 2 minutes to play, and got some late points. So I think, and even though they're without Travis Hunter, they still have some very good skilled players. Dylan Edwards, Xavier Weaver, Jimmy Horn Jr., the receiver. So, and Shedeur is great. Now, they're struggling up front is the question on both sides of the ball. How tough are they up front? But I think this is going to be a really good game. And here's the thing about Oregon. 6 of the last 8 years, including the last 3, they have been ranked higher in the preseason than at the end of the year. So they haven't lived up to the billing, okay? Because here's the deal. If Colorado had been ranked higher than Oregon to start the season, Colorado would be ranked higher than them right now. So a lot of it's the bias of, and I get why Oregon was ranked earlier, but so I'm just saying Oregon's been overrated early in the last several years. So I'm giving Colorado a shot. I think this is too much of a spread.
Yeah, it's disrespectful. Simply for me, when I watch these 2 teams play, they both can score the football. Like, what are we not seeing? Like, Shedeur in this
can't stop.
Yeah, I think that's the question.
But my point is, like, the fact that has Colorado truly been stopped? I mean, they played better defenses, TCU, and then Nebraska, the big bruising Big Ten type style of defense. Like, they've hung up 31 on them. So they've not shown that they can't score against anyone. So we don't look at Oregon or anyone in the Pac-12, like Pac-12, as if they're solid on defensively. Why all of a sudden are they 21-point favorites when you got a team that averages 41 points in Colorado? In the Oregon Ducks, they average 46.
Like you said, Nick.
I'll ask you this question. Pop quiz, Nick. A lot of Deion's, so far, the brand of Deion has been no one believes in us, but we actually are sort of feel inevitable at this point. Beat TCU, beat Nebraska, beat Colorado State in double overtime. If they lose in this game, do you think the narrative around Deion changes? Like, I'm actually interested to see how he responds to a loss.
No, in part because they then have an opportunity for what they need. If Colorado this year is not going to have peaked on Saturday night, Sunday morning, they have to win one of their next 2.
Those are tough games.
Really? I think they could lose if they
everyone
lose
knows.
close.
Let me just tell America: the next game is against the best player in the world in college football, Caleb Williams and USC, on Fox at noon a week from Saturday. If they lose both of those games, at least for the time being, the air's a little out of the balloon, and they're going to be heavy underdogs in both those games. And by the way, they have no business winning either of those games. I'm only giving them a chance in this weekend's game because of what you're saying. Like, they seem like, I don't want to say team of destiny because I don't think they're going undefeated or anything like that, but they do not have the athletes of Oregon or USC. They do not have, there's a reason. Like, Vegas, 21 might be an overstatement, but Oregon at home deserves to be a 2-touchdown favorite. Like, that's not wrong. And so I do think that could happen a little bit, even if this continues in a great trajectory over the long haul.
Some early draft buzz around Shedeur. Here's Shedeur's numbers. 2nd in passing yards, 4th in completion percentage, almost 80%, 10 touchdowns, the most deep passes, also only 1 interception. So, Brew, do you think Shedeur is a top 10 pick here?
I think so. I think he's looked fantastic. Like you said, you saw from the numbers, he throws the deep ball really well. He's got a strong arm. He's good size. He's 6'2", 215. And at Jackson State and here, he doesn't have a great offensive line. And he's still been able to put up great numbers. He's accurate. And you got to like the poise. We saw against Colorado State, obviously, the late comeback, the late passes. But to grow up in the shadow of Deion Sanders as your dad. We've seen it, and Bronny's doing a great job too, but we've seen it. It's tough.
It's typically hard.
Yeah. And so he handles it well. It doesn't look like any stage is too big for him. So I like him a lot, man. So I definitely think he looks like a top 10 pick right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like him a lot. For me, this is interesting because you listen to a dad talking to a son in this moment, and it's like, okay, this is the first time it's like clearly obvious. Deion is like, wait, son, we got more work to do. I need you to be here because there would be no reason for a dad in this situation. Your son is playing lights out at Jackson State. You mentioned it, and now at a PWI. Like, for me, he's balling. He's proven that he can play with anybody. He has an opportunity to go top 10. You would be like, yeah, let's go. But right now, it's not about that for Deion. And this is just the true, raw truth. It is about allowing his sons to build this brand equity that he currently has at Colorado.
So here's the thing. I think Shedeur, not only do I think he would be I think it'd be a guaranteed top 10 pick because 4 quarterbacks going top 10 next year.
There's 4 quarterbacks are going top 10.
I'm going to list you teams that if they have a top 10 pick are 100% taking a quarterback. Keep in mind what it would mean for these teams to have a top 10 pick, what their season went.
And Kyler's supposed to be floating out there
Arizona,
too, theoretically.
Chicago, Denver, Minnesota, because Kirk would be gone.
Would go
New England. If they have a top 10 pick, Wildes, it means the season went terribly.
That's
Even
fair.
you.
Fine,
So
if we have a top 10 pick,
exactly.
things are bad.
The Rams with Stafford and his age. The Jets. Steelers, Raiders, Tampa. That's 10 teams that if they have a top 10 pick are taking a quarterback. Shedeur gets an opportunity this week to go up against one of those other guys that could go, Bo Nix.
Yep.
And next week it goes up against the guy who's definitively going number 1. Everybody loves Drake May at number 2. Drake May has not had a good year. He was awesome last year. We'll see what he has this year. Here is what I think find so interesting. And we can talk about this more, I guess, over the next couple weeks. 10th pick of the draft this past year, $20 million over 4 years, fully guaranteed. First pick, just under $40 million, right? So it's a big delta. Shedeur could be the number 1 pick of the following year's draft. And how much money can he make in college football next year?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
$10 million NIL? Joel Klatt said that on the Herd today. I bet that's right. Bronny's going to make 7.
Not if they go 3 and 6.
The thing is this, and you brought up Drake May. A lot of times, this is true for football and basketball. If you're like a high pick one year and you stay, a lot of times they over-scrutinize you.
Yeah,
I don't know if that would happen with him. Matt Leinart, we saw it happen with him. That was a while ago. But
Shedeur's
still.
in a different situation because he's checking every box, right? He's answering a lot of questions, and he has one guy in his corner that every quarterback wishes was in his corner, and that's Tom Brady. Yeah. Like, so if you're a scout, you're like, well, who can we ask? Who can we inquire about this guy? And like, outside of Deion? Well, Tom Brady is the greatest of all time to ever do it, and he's a resource that he has every single day, calling him, talking to him about all the film work and all the things. So I like where he's at. I would love to see him stay.
If he stays, I think he could go number one.
I don't think Deion would make him stay.
Make $10 million bucks in college.
Yeah.
Money.
If they have a great year, and I think a great year for them is 9-3. If they do something like that, I don't think Deion's going to make him stay. We'll see.
9-3?
That'd be a great year. Huh?
Yeah, it would.
He's saying
It's 9-3 is tough.
No, I know.
He wants to try to win a natty.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.